Hi, I'm Alex from Southern Ukulele Store. It's so good to be back. It's been a couple of weeks. There's lots of building work going on in the general vicinity of Southern Ukulele Store at the moment, which has made it very hard to film. But there's so much I want to talk about. Just in the last couple of weeks alone, we've had some deliveries from Ohana USA, from Kumu, from Carla's US custom shop, some kanile'a, and of course what we're talking about today, which is the night owls. We're going to talk about the night owls, and I'm going to feed you some information later about the Carla US Revelators as well, because it seems relevant. The night owl, the Revelators, are ukulele of the year for 2024, something that we've been involved with from the start, right back when Pete Howlett first invented the Revelator, first came to us with that design and we were selling it. We've always been championing that concept, a slimline ukulele with an offset sound hole that just does something acoustically that is different to everything else. The Night Owl at launch was available in Mango and Acacia, although really here in the UK it was only available in Mango. The Acacias are here for the first time now. So you've not heard the Acacia from me. I know a few other dealers, a few other stores have been able to show this off, but you have the Mango and the Acacia version here at the same time for the first time. So we're going to A/B them today. Let's just talk about what the Night Owl entails and how it's different from the US models. The Night Owl has this oval sound hole here. It has a solid acacia top with a three-piece solid Okumi back. So when we first got the Mango model, we were inspecting it, trying to figure out if it was all solid wood or whether it was laminate back and sides. I falsely reported it as laminate. Carla explained to me and sent me a production photo. The way they make these is very interesting. They basically make the neck first all the way down on one piece, and then they attach the other solid parts of the sides and the top. So they construct it in a different way to a normal ukulele, and it's different to the US model, but does resemble the same thickness and the same body shape. The sound hole is different. The Night Owl sound hole is more of an oval shape. You have a wider nut width on these ukuleles at 38mm. The US models have a 36mm nut width, but this is a bit wider, 38mm with a 30mm string spacing, but quite a nice depth to the neck, feels a bit different to the average Carla ukulele. The neck is satin, the body is gloss. At some point here, this very clever heel joint ceases to be satin, starts to be a polyurethane gloss. You have a cutaway here with front binding and obviously an acacia top on this model. These are arriving to us with Aquila strings on. I will show you how they sound with the Aquila strings, but we are choosing to fit these ukuleles with the Revelator strings, which is a set of strings that I actually helped Pete Howlett develop back in the day for the Revelators, which is a light gauge wound G, a light gauge wound C, that's right, a wound C, and then two Worth Brown strings. So it's quite an expensive set, but if you were to buy the individual components for this, it would actually be even more. But I think these strings work really well with the thin line concept. They beef out the sound a bit. But because they're lighter gauge, actually, this low G is a 28, which is the same thickness as an unwound high tension high G. The C is a 19, I think. It's a really light wound string, so much, much lighter than you'd expect on an unwound one. Some wound Cs can be as much as a 40 gauge, so twice the diameter. So don't be put off by the wound strings. Definitely give them a try if you are curious. The Night Owls also come with a passive undersaddle pickup. There's no volume or tone control, but if you just want a serviceable, straightforward pickup that you can plug into any amplifier, it does the job perfectly well. The Night Owls come in a really cool bag, a replica big bag of what the US models come with. But I guess you guys want to hear them. You don't really want me to talk about them anymore. But if you're not familiar with the Mango, it's the same spec, but with a Mango top. Some of you are going to ask me if they all look different. We are going to make an effort to list some of them individually, but actually I found that the Acacias have all had a fairly uniform straight grain to them. The Mangoes have all been fairly similar to this. I've tried to pick two very typical examples for you just to make life easier. They look cool, they sound cool. I'm going to give you the sound sample first of all with the Aquilas, and then I'm going to give you the sound sample with the Revelator strings, and then we're going to come back and we're going to look at something cool and something blue. Forgive me if they went slightly out of tune there at the end. That's very interesting. So, for me, there is more attack on the Mango model. The Mango model has more of a... like more of an instant... You hear the note cleanly instantly. But there's less sustain. It's going to be out of tune. I've just strung both these up for this video. Whereas the release on the note on the Acacia, unsurprisingly, because Acacia is a sweeter wood, has more of a sweet release. It's noticeably quieter, and I've played 20 of these now, but A-Bing them against each other for the first time this morning, it's just a more sensitive, gentle instrument. Does that make it better? I don't know. But I guess if you're somebody who strums in a group, you probably want to go for the Mango because it's just unapologetic. Whereas there's a little bit more complexity to the Acacia. If you finger pick or if you really like to kind of enjoy listening to notes ring out on your ukulele, it's more of an emotional experience playing it, then you might prefer the Acacia. They're both very, very good though. I mean, just both really at that price, you know, comparable to things at that price. You know, just a really solid choice. Anyway, that's my feedback, having strung them with the Revelator strings, and I would be interested to know what you guys think in the comment section about the difference in the strings. Let's move on from the Night Owls now. Let's have a look at the Aquila USA custom shop and what they are making. This is a Revelator NSL-T made out of myrtle for the top and carina back and sides. I should say a carina body, carina back. The way the US Revelators differ to the Night Owls is twofold, mainly the body construction. The body of a US Revelator is carved out. So it's a piece of wood that's thinned out and hollowed out so that you lay a top onto the instrument. That's the first really key thing that you don't necessarily see, but you definitely feel because they're lighter than the Chinese-made import model. But also they just feel a little bit more responsive in the hands. There's nothing wrong with the Night Owls. I think they represent a very good ukulele at their price point. If you were to compare it to things that were £400, it sits really nicely in with all of them, if not ahead in certain elements. I don't want to say it's the best ukulele at the price because there's some really good ukuleles between £300 and £500, but I could see why a lot of people will gravitate towards the Night Owl. Having said that, these ukuleles are about 3 times the price. They are more labour intensive in how they're produced, with the body being hollowed out. There are some features as well that make them a bit more premium, and I can see why Aquila would reserve these for the US models. The Nautilus sound hole, I think, is the most iconic thing that's different on the US models. This Nautilus shape fits with the body design really beautifully. Sound-wise, we did a video years ago, and I mean 7 years ago now, comparing an oval to a Nautilus Howlet Revelator, 2 of them. And the Nautilus one for me had a slightly more vibrant sound. That's just one example, but I'm going to use that because it's something that I actually did with my own ears. You have a pin bridge on the US models. You have a 36mm nut width, and the whole body is finished in satin. There's no gloss on this ukulele at all, so it's a little bit more lived in from new, a little bit darker sounding, has a bit more depth to it. This NSL-T in colour is one of the custom models that we have commissioned for 2025. I picked some wood in January when I visited the Carla booth at the NAMM show, so we've got some customs coming in throughout the year. This is the first of them. Let's give the NSL-T Myrtle a play and see what you think. Myrtle and Carina. I don't normally brag about the freebies I get, but Carla sent me this really cool jumper, like merch-wise. I think more ukulele companies should make sweaters because let's face it, like the t-shirt thing's cool, but I just like this jumper. It's got a Carla logo on the back. Thank you so much to the folks at Carla UK for sending me that. Good old Geraint, even if he does do a terrible impression of me. Let's look now at the final uke of the day. This is an NSL-T in blue. It's got a blue sunburst finish and it's a maple top with carina back and sides. It looks really cool, doesn't it? Now we're under a yellow light here and there's a white light there. So if I switch it from one light to the other, white light, you'll see how the finish changes under these lights. It does appear darker under the yellow light, but as we move towards the white lights, you can really see the blue. So when you're in a natural light, it does appear more vibrant, more of an electric blue, but under the yellow, it can appear almost dark. If only Carla would do some kind of night owl in a dark colour, maybe exclusive to a shop in Bournemouth, England. Oh, I hope something like that could come towards the end of this year, but who knows. So with our customs, we've actually chosen the premium spec rather than the master spec. Premium spec Carla US models have a royal Blackwood fingerboard and bridge. They have gold, they have silver hardware, and the master grade ones have an ebony fingerboard and bridge with gold hardware. For me, my own Revelator, I found that the Royal Blackwood was a wood that just felt really responsive. Although it's slightly cheaper option, for me, I felt like it was a spec change that was unnecessary on an already premium instrument. So I can order you something special from Carla. The wait time might be 6 to 8 months, but that's the reason we always have this Royal Blackwood fingerboard instead. Let's give the NSL-T Maple and Carina a play and see what you think. There you have it, folks. I feel a bit off today. I feel a bit off of this video. I really hope that I haven't been rambling too much. Thank you so much for watching to the end. We had dozens of Carla night owls turn up on Monday. Romeo's ill, I'm ill, Phil's off. It's just been some ridiculous days trying to fulfill all of our pre-orders and back orders, and I've really wanted to make this video. But to achieve that, I've had to get here at about 5:30 in the morning before all the building work starts, before the day starts. So actually, when I come to edit this video, I'm kind of dreading how tired I'm going to seem. But my enthusiasm is very real. I'm so glad to have the night owls back. So glad to be able to fulfill so many people's back orders. Some people have been waiting as long as 8 months for these to arrive, and they have not disappointed. I've already had feedback from the first dozen or so that have been to customers where they're just really happy with them. So there are some available at the time of launch of this video. There's links in the description. Although I have to confess affectionately, setting up Revelators and night owls exclusively for the last few days, we've started referring to them as the Night Bastards, which I think is a name that could well catch on. Anyway, folks, you have a great day. I'll be back again very soon.